Welcome to the Power of One. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Jason Suber. He is going to share his story with us. Him and I had a conversation, and we spoke about the youth today and how someone can shoot someone and someone's background of them serving time. And Jason enlightened me and said, Melanie, I was that person at one time, and he's willing to share his story so we can get a little bit of insight on why some people do the things that they do. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing? Thanks for
Jason,
welcoming me.
tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and like where you went to high school in Philly.
I'm currently 43 years old. 1996, I was in high school. I went to high school at Simon Gratz. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the area. You know, it's around like 18th or 19th 100 in Park. As far as like schooling, I did go to school, and then I started like hanging out with like a crowd, like a certain crowd or whatever. But a lot of times, a lot of things that I've done, it was just like things that I've done. I didn't like nobody made me do anything or whatever. It was just like I thought like doing certain things like I would be like a cool guy if people found out what I was doing. So
At the age of 16, your life changed. What happened?
uh, December, I think I was in car. Well, it was around. I'm not sure the month. So if I get it for as though I'll be explaining it, it was a while ago. As you can see, I'm 43. At 16 years old, I was arrested and locked up for a robbery, aggravated assault, and I had a whole lot, like a lot of other charges, gun charges. I did have drugs on me at the time, so they did charge me with that, and I went to prison at a young age.
How many years did you serve in prison?
My sentence was originally 1 to 5 and a 2 to 5 running together, which is concurrent, and I ended up doing 5 years because I got in trouble when I was incarcerated. But yeah, I ended up doing 5 years out of my 10-year term.
But you were in state prison.
Yes, state correctional institution. Yes.
Okay. And so at the age of 16, were you charged as an adult?
I was charged as an adult. I was in an adult prison with other adults at the age of 16. Had no business seeing the things and witnessing the things that I've seen behind jail, behind bars. Like it was crazy. It was that alone will traumatize you.
So what traumatized you? What did you see that traumatized you when you were in prison?
For one, being arrested, when the guards search you, you have to strip down naked, completely naked, with nothing on. So they ask you to pull your testicles up. They ask you to bend over, squat, and cloth and all that to make sure you don't have any paraphernalia on you or you're not transporting any type of weapons or anything, because people do hide weapons up their rectum or whatever. So, when they pushed the weapons so far up in their rectum, they had this machine that you had to sit on. And it's like a metal detector. You sit on it, and it scans your body for weapons or any paraphernalia that you may have on you at that time or whatever that is, unnoticeable to the human eye. That's like one of the experiences that traumatized me. And then like, being like stripped around like other grown men or whatever, it's like you're in a line. Mind you, you're not alone when you're being stripped. You're being stripped around 10 to 20 other people. And they're doing this routine at one whole time. So it's not like, and this is every time you go in and out of court. When you go to court, when you go on visits, This is what they do to you every single time. They strip you down to nothing. When you go on visits, when you visit your family, when you go to court, when you go to where else? If you had an outside job, they do that. They strip you down, so they don't want you bringing anything, any paraphernalia back in the state correctional institution or the county. So, yeah,
Was there a lot of fights in prison?
uh, I seen, I actually seen a kidnapping in prison. An inmate kidnapped another inmate. Fights. I've got into a few fights, but some of them I got in trouble for, and some of them I got away with. But in there it's like different because you somebody will test you at any time. It don't matter when, where, and how. Somebody will test you and test your manhood. And meaning when they test your manhood and they see you weak, then they gonna rape you.
Mm.
Simple as that. Like simple as that. A lot of things that you don't do in there, like you don't take stuff from people. Because when you take something from somebody, they'll come back later on and on the line and ask you, "Are you ready to pay up?" And you be like, "Pay up for what?" "Oh, I gave you a bag of chips. I gave you a box of cakes. You have to pay for those." "I don't have anything to pay you." "Okay, you do have something to pay me. Take your clothes off. Hit you when you punch in your face. Anything, something can go. Anything can go left in it. I'm gonna go to the first year. My first year in was like it was. I knew like I was running into people that I knew from certain neighborhoods that I used to be in or whatever. And Philly always was fighting against Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and York, PA. Like it was always them outer counties against us. Like it was always Philadelphia against Harrisburg. Like we
Mm.
have a riot. It'd be a whole riot. It'd be Philadelphia against Harrisburg, but it'd be Harrisburg and York teaming up together. So it might be Harrisburg, York, and Pittsburgh teaming up together on Philly because it'd be so many of them. Excuse me, it'd be so many of us. But yeah, it's like Philly always had to like fight against other states and counties, surrounding counties. That was like my first year coming through there. It was like always a riot, always a riot. We always locked down. And like for the average 16-year-old, I don't think he should be seeing the type of things that I've seen. I've seen somebody get hit upside their head, dragged in the cell, and raped. I
Let me ask
seen
you a question. Why were you tried as an adult? Was it
they had
multiple crimes that you were locked up for, or was it just that one?
no, it was just that one. That was my first charge ever in my whole entire life. That was my first case ever in my whole entire life.
And
And
what was it? You said it was robbery?
robbery, aggravated assault, robbery, aggravated assault. They charged me with possession of a weapon, and I had a drug charge as well.
So tell me about the robbery. What exactly occurred?
I was downtown, I think between Cherry Street, I think off of Cherry Street, parking lot off of Cherry Street, and I was with another older being. And he's like a lot older than me. He drove, he had a car or whatever, so we was able to get around or whatever. So, and he was like, "All right, we're gonna rob him right there." So I'm like, "All right." So he drove off and like parked around the corner. I got out of the car. I walked the block down and a couple, like maybe like 20 feet over to the parking area, to the parking lot area. I went inside the booth where the man was. I saw him count money. I pulled a gun out on him and I just told him, give me the money. Like, come on, give me the money. I don't want to have to use the gun. Just give me the money. And he refused at first. Then we got into a little tussle. So we was tussling around for the weapon, and I still had possession of the weapon, and I shot him. So I'm not sure if I shot maybe once. I might have shot like maybe like two or more times, and uh and he like fell. Like he didn't scream, he just fell. Like, "Ah, you shot me, you shot me." So I grabbed what money I could grab, and I ran. And I heard the cops. heard the cops. They started coming. They must have heard the gunshot, or somebody must have called the authorities. So I tried to run. So when I ran, I maybe got like 2 or 3 blocks, and I got rid of the. I had the drugs on me, but I got rid of the weapon, and and the cops surrounded me. They made me get on my knees and stuff, and they uh they took me to the eighth district. Oh, eighth and race, the roundhouse, and they booked me in. Detective questioned me, and they locked me up. They booked me in. They said they had me on camera and everything, so they locked me up. That's when I got arrested in 1996.
So let's dissect that a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to be totally honest. When I watch the news and I see someone who was robbed,
Mm-hmm.
and that just gets under my skin because I work hard for what I have, and I don't have much, but I work hard for what I have, and for somebody to rob me for what I have, or let alone put a gun to me to rob me for what I have. And then you see on the news sometimes somebody gets robbed and then they get shot in the process. So
Yeah.
let's dissect this a little bit. Where was your mindset? Help me to understand your mindset as to why you would think it was okay to rob somebody or even shoot somebody.
I'm not gonna blame it on like that. I'm not gonna blame it on my age or anything like that, or I'm not gonna blame it on like the person I was with. It just, I mean, I thought about it a lot, but like that was like back then, and it's over like 30, almost like 30 something years ago. Not to say that the same things are not going on or whatever. Not to
Mhm.
say that I didn't have, not to say that I wasn't remorseful after the fact that I've done what I've done, and I had time to sit and think and dwell on it. But at that time, it just was, it was very, very, very stupid of me. I don't know what I was thinking. I can't tell you what I was thinking, but I can tell you like what I thought about like the thing that goes on now is just like senseless. It's not worth it. Like it's not worth it at all. It's not worth it.
Did you
And
have feelings? You know what I'm saying? Like, how was your family life at the time? How was mom? How was dad? Or did you actually give consideration to, oh my goodness, I'm about to go rob somebody? Like, tell me your whole demeanor, your family life, and your whole dynamic.
my my family it was structure because my great grandmother was still living, and at that time my great grandmother was taking care of me. But my mother was strung out on drugs, and my father was strung out on drugs as well. So I didn't know where my father was at for years. Like I just really just recently, like maybe like 5 to 10 years ago, just like really got back in contact with my father or whatever. And my mother was doing drugs since the '80s, so it was just like she wasn't, she didn't have no knowledge or didn't care about nothing that I was getting into or doing or whatever. All she cared about was getting high. So it was like I did have structure in my family, but I was just hard headed. I didn't listen. I was hard headed. I didn't listen, and I had to learn the hard way. I was being taught that you put your hand over the fire, you will get burnt, and I had to learn that way. I didn't learn as much as when people told me that if you do this, this will happen. I was the one that always had to walk down the street to see it happen to me before I believed it.
Mm.
But I at that age, I wasn't really thinking back then. Well, as much as I think about stuff, and you know, like more remorseful now to this day. Like, but I didn't think about it back then. So and then like nowadays, I don't know what goes on in these kids' head out here, but I know I was once a child like them and young at that age, and I was doing like a lot of things that they were doing and worse. But I don't know. All I can do is just tell them my story and see if they can learn from it. So I don't know what I was thinking back then. I probably wasn't thinking.
When you you said when you were in prison, something occurred that added on to your sentence. What happened in prison that added on to your sentence?
I got into a fight. I got into a fight, and well, I was defending myself, and I stabbed somebody. So just like it was either him or me. He had a weapon as well. So it was just like I was defending myself. And when I got caught with the weapon, they tacked a year. I think I did another year and a half on a year and a half, 2 years. I think they tacked on to my sentence, and I was actually up for parole then, but they when I went to go see the parole people, they turned me down or whatever due to the fact that I got into trouble.
After you served your 5 years, did you change at that point, or what helped you change your life?
Uh, when I you want to say when I came home or when
Yeah, when you came home from prison after you're serving your 5 years, did that
yeah
change your life? Did you reflect and say, okay, I need to make a change? Or did something happen in your life as an adult that said, okay, I got to change the way I'm living?
at some point at one point I did. I was like, I changed like certain things that I did or whatever. I went from actually it changed, but it didn't change for the better at that time. It didn't get better for me. I didn't I'm gonna say honestly, when I came home 2001, I was home for about a year, almost a year, and I went on a run. Actually, I was out one night, and the director to the halfway house came in. He came in the door his little drop bys every now and again to see what's going on at the house. And I was out. I was out. I snuck out because they ain't had like no bars and fences or anything like that or whatever. And the staff was more so like, I gave the staff some money to go out, and the director came in there. So what they had to cover their behind. They wasn't gonna tell them, oh well, he gave me some money to go out. But they had to cover their behind. So I wasn't really worried about that or whatever. I just went from robbery to just like selling drugs or whatever. I was just like selling drugs. So it didn't change. It changed where though I wasn't. I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with no weapons no more. I don't want to pick up no guns and rob nothing no more. I'm just gonna sell drugs. So I just was like selling drugs then.
And did something happen when you were selling
When I
drugs?
when I went
Total.
actually when I actually honestly when I went back 2001, I got caught. I had a gun on me. December 31st, 2001, I got arrested. I came home January 31st, 2001. I went back to jail December 31st, 2001. So I went.
Mm.
So it was a little under a year. I was out, like I had my freedom, a little taste of freedom, and I went back to jail with another gun case. So I was able to get a lawyer to fight the case or whatever, and I didn't get like a lot of time. I was blessed for that, and then I went back. I think I might have sat for like 2 years. I went back upstate. And I sat. I came home like 2001. I came home 2003. Yeah, I sat for 2 years, about a year and a half, 2 years almost.
Okay. And you too were shot, correct?
Yes, 2018, 2018 November. I mean, was it September? See, I forget that day. It's like a day I don't forget because it happened to me, but I forget sometimes the exact day. I don't be keeping up with that, but I did get shot 2018,
And how
24,
many
20,
times were you shot?
16 times.
Um, did you ever think that this could be in result of what I did to so many other people?
It might have been karma. Yeah, it might have been karma. Might have came back. I mean, I came back in a lot of other forms as well too, because I was going like I was in and out of prison. So like it might have came back. It might have been my karma. It might have been like a karma or another wake up call for something that's pulling me away from something that probably was going to happen to me, even worse. You know, me not being here to tell my story. So yeah, I believe I believe karma comes around full fledged. It might not
It-
happen today or
right.
yesterday, but it'll come. I believe it does come around, or it might not happen to you. It might happen to somebody else that you love. So
Hmm.
it might be in different. Karma is in different forms. So
So you turned your life around, which is a good thing. What
yes.
message do you have for anyone who decides to pick up a gun to rob someone or to shoot and kill someone? What message do you have for these young people today?
Uh, See, like I can just like only thing I can speak from is experience and me going through what I went through. So if I ever tell a story or anything, it's because I went through it. It's not secondhand information. It's firsthand information, meaning I went through what I went through. So I can speak on it and I can tell you what to do and what not to do because these are the ending results of the situation at hand or in the things that we're battling nowadays with the youth. Now, what I would say to the youth or anybody that's grown or my age or older, because it comes in all ages. It's just not my age. It's younger too. Younger, my age or older. Like a lot of things that happen. So what I can tell the youth is just to like if you're in school or you're not in school, just go back to school, stay in school, work for everything that you want because the short money and the shortcomings is only going to lead to death or incarceration. You know, you spending your life, the rest of your life in prison, or you being incarcerated. Like, I mean, or you being in the grave. So it's just like the outcome of all of this violence and stuff that's going on out here is not a good outcome. It's never a good outcome. And there's never a good way to do something wrong. Never a good way to do something wrong. I've tried that too. I've tried over and over again to do the wrong things. I tried the right way to do the wrong things. This it can't be done. It's just like mixing water and oil. It's not a mixture. It's always going to be bubbles in the water. It's never going to be right. So I would suggest, everybody just stay in school, go get a job, go work somewhere, you know, take care of your kids and uplift the community. They don't pull the community down.
Well, I am super glad that our paths crossed, not the way they crossed, because I actually provided services to you when you were shy. But since I met you, you've been doing amazing things and educating children on your story to try to help them not to go down the path that you did. And for that, I thank you so much. I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story. Thank you so much, Jason.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for always, giving me a platform to speak my truth because that's all it is my truth.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Understand that I had a conversation with Jason. I've been knowing him for a few years now. And to me, Jason is a beautiful person. But I understand to those people that he victimized, they may think of him as a monster. I'm asking anyone who's making the decision to pick up a gun or making a decision to rob someone, don't be that monster. Change the way you live. And please do not victimize anyone. Peace and love.